Lanez, man. Your boy Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez gave an interview to NBC News from prison, and I am completely confused on how he was able to do this interview because it was not a tablet interview. It was definitely not a tablet interview. That camera on Tory Lanez looked sharp. It looked clear, and the CDC swears they do not give individual interviews. They only give random interviews. So I can go up to a prison and say, hey, I want to interview some guys, and they'll pick out some random guys for me. But if I go to the prison and say, hey, I want to interview Munchie B.
That ain't true because Marsha Cody did it.
No, I'm talking, that was like 20-something years ago. Yeah. As of, it's a new rule.
So how Blueface just do it?
Blueface was on a yard where the organization was just going up to people randomly.
Blueface is random? That was random?
Yeah, that was random interview.
Okay, this dude from Broadway telling this story. I forget his name. He in there for murder. They said he killed his friend. Unalived his friend. Was that random?
Well, probably. The CDC does not allow you to request a specific interview with a person. It is against the policy for the last 10 years. But the one they're the organization that was on the prison yard where Blueface was at, they were interviewing multiple people. And they have a whole YouTube channel of prison interviews, but all of their interviews are random. So they didn't say, hey, can we interview Blueface? They were just on the yard, just going up to people. So that's how that happened. But this Tory Lanez interview is very specific. So I don't know how it happened. I'm going to do my due diligence and find out how it happened. But, he's still fighting for his freedom like most brothers are doing.
I don't think he gonna get free before it said release date, bro. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think that he's approaching it all wrong. But I got 2 clips of his interview. Let's play clip 4, Tory Lanez.
Tonight, rapper Tory Lanez breaking his silence in his first ever broadcast interview from behind bars since being found guilty of shooting Grammy winner Megan Thee Stallion in the foot outside a party in 2020.
I've never been violent towards a woman. I would never hit a woman, let alone shoot a woman.
Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, spoke to NBC News from California Men's Colony, a prison where he's 3 years into a 10-year sentence after being found guilty on 3 felony counts, including assault with a semi-automatic firearm.
There is definitely a very big misconception about me that seems to the public as I'm this monster. And I feel like I was catapulted into this poster child for the unprotection of Black women. And it's just so unlike me. And I've never really had a chance to express that. But you can look at my criminal record. I don't have one. I never had one. And I feel like, that connotation that I would do anything of this monstrous proportion is completely incorrect and it's wrong.
Lanez declined to testify during his 2022 trial. Do you regret not taking the stand?
I think if I would have taken the stand, the verdict would have definitely been very different.
The rapper's legal team filed an appeal, which was denied in November. But his team is continuing to fight, with plans to file multiple appeals next week, this time with the California Supreme Court, in one claiming newly discovered evidence that they weren't provided during Lanez's 2022 trial, including hundreds of pages of medical records for Megan Thee Stallion, whose real name is Megan Pete, which they allege raise questions about the fragments removed from her foot after surgery. His team argues that the fragments were not provided ahead of trial and that this was a violation of due process.
And we didn't have that chance. Or perhaps we could have questioned the doctors differently when they were on stand to impeach them, because it does look suspicious.
But in the appeal denied in November, the court did address the fragments, ruling that the surgeon's testimony was, quote, more than sufficient to prove great bodily injury on Pete. Proving something like this on appeal is tough.
This is a really, really difficult appellate argument for defendants to prove, because they have to show if the evidence actually came into court, the jury would have found differently. It's an uphill battle, and it's something that often torpedoes any defense appellate argument.
There you go. That's Tory Lanez.
So Tory Lanez not his real name is Daystar Peterson?
Daystar Peterson.
So where did he get Tory Lanez from? I wonder.
I don't know. His father's name is Sunstar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
and Megan's real last name is Pete. So you got Pete and Peterson.
And my dad side of the family, his mother is last name Pete. My grandmother. I'm like, damn, that's not even common. My family from Memphis is Pete.
Yeah, is it Pete?
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Might be related.
Might be.
Yeah. So you got Megan Pete and Daystar Peterson. Pete and Peterson. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel for Tory Lanez, unfortunately. I think he's approaching this all wrong. In fact, one of his folks reached out to me like maybe a year or two ago and literally asked me for some advice. So I gave them an outline on how to deal with the appeal, which issues to hit, telling him and then saying he should not speak, talk, do interviews, nothing. And they went completely against everything I recommended. I was like, all right, they're not serious. They're not serious at all.
I don't know. I say free that man, but you know, I don't think it's likely that before that EPRD, the earliest parole release date, it ain't happening.
Nah, but I would say that I don't think anyone's calling him a monster. And if they are, that's not accurate. You can't define a man by a mistake they made on one night. You know, it was truly a mistake. I believe he was extremely intoxicated.
And they wasn't outside of a party.
No, it wasn't outside of a party. They had just left the party.
Yeah, what them news people talking about?
Yeah, they left the party. They was on a street in Hollywood Hills. And he said he didn't have any criminal record, but they actually brought in an arrest during the trial. I was in the trial, by the way, for those who didn't know. I was in the trial for every single day from opening statements to the verdict. And I didn't miss a day. And they did bring in some arrest, an assault he had, I believe, in Florida.
What happened with it, though?
He ended up pleading guilty to it and then taking probation. And then if he successfully completed the probation, he would have like have it. I don't know, like the taken away or something.
He don't have a record then, like you
well,
said.
that's the whole argument in court. So the defense was like, this shouldn't come in because he already honored the probation and he successfully completed it. The prosecutors was like, hey, it's an assault and we need to bring that in. And there was a big back and forth between the attorneys on that. So I guess technically he can say, I don't have a criminal record, even though he was arrested and pled to an assault. It's a tricky.
It ain't no tricky. He don't have a record. He handled his obligations and it's not there no more.
Okay, but he's saying he doesn't have a record. Because I don't have a record, there's no way I could have did this to Megan. But no, you actually did an assault to someone else.
No. He said I don't have a record, meaning there's no record of it. It shouldn't be there. He you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. He is trying to defend that there's no way I could have did this to Megan. I don't even have a record. I don't have a criminal record.
If they going by the letter of the law and looking at, okay, like when I got my OR that's talked about so much. My lawyer said Scary Banks don't have no convictions since 2011. I was shocked to hear that. And it's 2025. I don't have no convictions. All these arrests they see from 2011 all the way to 2025, there's no convictions.
Yeah.
So like he didn't say nothing wrong or inaccurate.
Well, I think he's being a little deceptive though.
No.
Because it came into the court, so now it's part of the public record. We do know you did do something. And then they also brought up the August Alsina assault. I don't think anything happened with that because this trial took over and they probably just said, well, he's in prison already. You know, no need.
So if some points get taken off your driving record, but you previously had them, but you did whatever you had to do to get them taken off, you gonna say, well, what you gonna say?
Hey, I'm probably gonna try to defend myself to the fullest.
You gonna say I don't have any points on my driving record, right?
Yeah, but you got to understand how
right or wrong.
the system don't play that game.
No, I'm asking you a question, right or wrong. You trying to go for this job driving buses for Metro, and you gonna say I don't have any points on my driving record, right?
It's for a certain time period, right? For the last 3 years?
It don't matter. They gone. You did what you have to do for the points to be gone, taken off.
Yeah.
So when you going for this job to work for Metro and drive Metro buses or Laidlaw to drive the school buses, You gonna say I don't have any points on my driver record, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he could say he don't have a record.
Well, it didn't work in the trial.
I'm telling you because you acting like he wrong for saying what he said.
Well,
He's not wrong.
He knows that it came out in the trial, and
He
that
never said I've never been arrested.
he should. Well, he was more than arrested.
Yeah, he never said that. I've never been arrested.
Yeah.
He said I don't have a record.
Okay, and then his other argument is that they didn't bring the bullets that they pulled out of Megan's foot into the courtroom.
I don't know what difference that is.
Yeah, to parade around the jury. They had a doctor from Cedars-Sinai. I believe his name was Dr. Harunu. He was a young doctor, probably like early 30s. And he said, I did surgery on Megan. He was very detailed, very specific. He said those are bullet fragments. He had x-rays. He showed that there were fragments in both feet. He said there's a bunch of tiny fragments that I'm not going to be able to remove, but I removed the chunkier ones and bandaged her up and sent her on her way. It was pretty. That doctor's testimony clearly proved that bullets went in her foot, both feet actually, but only one foot was severely damaged. So what are they trying to say? Impeach means to prove that someone's testimony is false. The person in that clip said maybe they would be able to ask better questions with the doctor to impeach him. Well, that doctor's unimpeachable. He came in there with the x-rays, with the science. You'd have to say he's a liar. And this is he is not like, he doesn't have a dog in this fight. He's just a private doctor at a private hospital asked to come in and testify about the surgery he gave Megan. So now he's a liar, and then the police are liars because they didn't bring the bullet fragments. It's just a flawed argument. That's all. And he didn't take the stand because he would have been destroyed on the stand.
Yeah, he's saying that now, man. But you wasn't supposed to take the stand.
No, his lawyer said you can't take the stand, and it would have been worse.
They would have ate him alive.
Yeah, because they want to know, okay, who shot Megan then? Who shot Megan? What are you going to say?
You would have been forced to say Kelsey.
You would have had to say either Kelsey or the driver, Jaquan. You're going to say one of them did it? And he realized, I ain't taking the stand. It would not have turned out any better if he took the stand.
I don't know. I'm just pro Tory, man.
Well, pro Tory in what sense?
Because I'm an accountability person, bro, and this all started from somewhere. So like I think everybody should have just took their licking and just let it offset.
Well, I would agree with that, but at the end of the night, he decided somebody got shot, so it was taken to the next level.
The bullet hit the floor. She didn't get shot.
It doesn't.
You know what bullet fragments is?
Yeah, but in the state of California, if a bullet ricochets off the ground and hits you, you got shot. It still counts as a shooting. It ain't looked at any different. I know. I got a homeboy named Elbone from 29th Street. He got killed from a ricochet. Instead of it landing in the foot like it did with Megan, the ricochet landed in his head, and he died back in 1987 or 88. And everybody was like, wow, that was a ricochet. And it happened. So, yeah, you can kill somebody with a ricochet.
Right.
But, all right, let's play the second clip 5 of Tory Lanez.
The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office and representatives for Megan Thee Stallion have not responded to NBC News' request for comment.
I believe not only that I was wrongfully convicted, but the amount of new evidence that has emerged since that trial, I think, has been overwhelming.
What has life been like in prison for the last couple of years?
Truthfully, I've done my best to keep my head above water, but mentally, I've gone through trauma that I sometimes even struggle with because I never imagined myself dealing with things that I would have to deal with. I've been stabbed 17 times. I almost lost my life.
If you could say something to Megan Thee Stallion today, what would it be?
I think that I wouldn't say something directly to her. I would like that moment to happen in person. We've both gone through a lot. There's this connotation that, like, I share this hatred for her, but I don't. I genuinely passed that. I'm at a place of healing in my life. I'm at a place of taking accountability for the things that I did wrong. And when I talk about my case, I don't want it to be taken as me coming at her, because it's not that. I'm just asking for somebody in the system to look at my case and look at the evidence and ask if this was fair.
And with that, Chloe Malas joins us now on set. So, Chloe, Tory Lanez is also seeking a pardon from Governor Gavin Newsom.
That's right. His legal team has filed the necessary paperwork, and it is before the governor now. So they're seeking either a pardon where his criminal record will be wiped clean, he would be released from prison, or to have his sentence commuted, meaning that the time he has served is sufficient, and release him, but that doesn't change his criminal record. As for when this could happen, the governor typically does these twice a year, so this could happen before the new year.
All right. Chloe Malas for us, Chloe.
All right, there you go. Where you want to start with, man?
Man, commuted sentence, governor. That's not what I gotta say. Jails for criminals. That man ain't no criminal.
Yeah, I would support a commutation because he's already been in there about 3 years. He's only going to do 66% of that 10 years. He's not doing the whole 10. So that's about 6 years. So he's got about three years left.
30% is a lot for him because, you know, he come from mansions and luxury condos to a cell.
Yeah.
A California king-size mattress to a thin-ass mat. You feel me? So I could imagine, like, you feel me? But I just, man, accountability is everything, man. Megan, in her mind, whether she admitted it or not, she know where she went wrong. I mean, I don't know if the world know it, and I just got rapper friends. I know she got a drinking problem to where she go too far, she get wild, and she, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, everybody there was intoxicated. Kelsey, Megan, and Tory. Them three were all drunk as a skunk.
But everybody trying to enjoy themselves. She left and had the driver bring her back. That's what I'm saying. You gotta, like, it's accountability. Like, I don't know,
hey,
man.
She did what a woman does. She got jealous that Tory was still in the pool.
That ain't enough to send somebody to prison, bro.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to shoot somebody because you're pissed about that. I mean, I agree that she should have never came back, but pulling out a gun and busting, a gun was fired because there's audio of the gunshots. The neighborhood called 911. Somebody pulled a gun out. Somebody busted because they were all drunk.
Yeah, and this could go on forever because what about the inconsistencies in the testimony, man? The dude that was looking from the balcony, he said one thing in Tory's favor, went on a recess and came back with a whole different spiel.
Because he got asked different questions.
No,
he got asked questions.
His testimony went in a way different direction.
Nah, I wouldn't say it went in a different direction. He just had more answers for more questions. He had answers for the defense that favored Tory, but once the prosecution got this witness on the stand, then some of those questions didn't favor Tory. And that happens with every witness. You got questions that favor the defense. Okay, let me take a crack at it now. Prosecution, I got different questions to ask you. Oh, it ain't looking so good. We've seen it on those dramas all the time on TV where a person's testifying and it's looking good for the defendant. It's looking good. And then the other lawyer comes and destroys it. That's what happened to that witness. I sat right there and watched the whole thing. But it was more than just that one witness. It was a whole bunch of things. But this guy Tory said in this clip, and I know the family's going to hate me, but I'm going to keep it real. There has been no new evidence produced since that trial's been over. No new evidence.
You don't know that, though. Who you talking to behind the scenes?
I'm talking about all the new evidence that's been the so-called new evidence. One is Jaquan wants to make a statement now. Jaquan wants to say that X, Y, and Z in Tory's favor. Well, that's not new evidence because Jaquan was at court and chose not to testify. He was there on a Friday and chose not to testify. And now all of a sudden he's got all these things to say. That's the newest evidence that's come out since he's been convicted. And I don't think that would have changed him. And really what's bothersome about claiming you've been wrongfully convicted, that's fine. We know a lot of people wrongfully convicted. Then you're supposed to go at Megan hard. Oh, well, I don't got nothing negative to say about Megan.
Everybody approach is different. You see, and then if you go at her hard, then it's like you got these women coming at you now.
Well, if you trying to convince us you were wrongfully convicted, you are never supposed to keep your foot off the gas.
Nah, bro. Okay, them being celebrities, they dealing with public perception. So you got to approach things differently. Now, if he go hard on Megan, you got all these women coming at him now, and it's not a good look.
I agree. It's not a good look because he got nothing to support that.
So no, it ain't about support. Bro, you could be all the way in the right. The women go rock with, oh well, she's a woman. And I mean, when we get off camera, we can ask your wife. Like, bro, I never asked or inquired on how she felt about it, how she felt about Tory, right? But I bet you she leaning in Megan favor. And if he would have came hard at her, it would have been way, way worse.
Well, if you're truly wrongfully convicted, you keep your foot on the pedal. You don't never take it off. You basically bowed out of the debate now. He's bowed out the debate that he was wrongfully convicted, but he's trying to still convince us he was wrongfully convicted.
When you're a celebrity and you're going through some things, high profile cases or whatever, you got to play the public game. You got to play their game. You got to make sure you paint it in the right light.
Well, I think
right or wrong.
I feel like he should go hard. You go hard. If you're innocent, you go hard. If you're truly innocent, you'll be vindicated through an appeal. But there's no path for an appeal. I thought that I actually outlined. I wrote an article on this where I outlined all the issues that happened in the trial that Tory could bring up on an appeal. And one of them was the tattoo of the AK-47 on his chest.
That's some Tupac shit.
The Tupac tattoo that I didn't feel I felt it was unfair to use that tattoo that the prosecution used. I thought it was extremely biased, and I think that maybe the jury felt a certain kind of way, and that may have helped. That may have slightly contributed to the conviction. But the counter argument is, if they didn't show the tattoo, would the trial went in a different direction? Would they have came back not guilty? Probably not. But you still have a couple of arguments there that he's not focusing on. He should be saying, hey, the prosecution introduced some things that were very unfair to me. They introduced a tattoo of an AK-47 on my chest, which was really a Tupac tattoo. It was an homage to Tupac, and they tried to paint me as a villain. Like, that's the way you defend yourself after you've been convicted. But, they didn't want to take my advice. That's cool. He's got his own method, but I don't think it's going to work. And, hey, him being stabbed 17 times, we found out that he's on like a 50-50 yard, right? Or one of those, I don't know if it's a PC yard or SNY. I don't know what they're calling it.
Whatever it is, it ain't completely GP like I thought.
Yeah, but if he was on a GP yard, he probably would not have gotten stabbed 17 times, which is crazy because these other yards, whatever we're calling them, they have more violence on them now.
Yeah, them PC yards, they don't have no structure and no real politics.
Yeah, so Tory might have had a better situation just going to GP and thugging it out on GP. But, it's all after the fact. But that's to future people that are somewhat high profile and you're going to prison. A lot of high profile people have walked the main line,
Hey, even rich or not, bro, when you fight certain cases, depending on the dynamic of it, you gotta approach it like certain ways. If you know your victim is a woman, and then you gotta approach it a different way. You gotta be sensitive to the masses, women all around the world, because your public perception. Your jury out of 12, it might be 6 women, so you can't be accusatory type vibe, and you can't be shrugging shoulders. Like, well, I'm innocent. I don't care about what happened with her. You know what I'm saying? Because the women go lead in the side of the woman. And that go for anything. If it's a hate crime, if it's some gay people on the jury.
That might be the reason why Gavin Newsom does not commute his sentence, because of women's rights and victims' rights with women. He might say, I ain't touching this one.
Right. Right. It's sketchy when you fighting the case. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I want to know, dude, although she got bullet fragments in her foot, okay, do you feel any kind of way that you wasn't fully truthful about this your testimony. You lied, and then there's somebody that you had slept with and you considered a friend at some capacity is sitting in prison while you was messing with all these ball players, athletes. You mess with Klay Thompson right now, like you just living your life and somebody in a pen behind 70-30 or 60-40, both y'all stupidity.
Yeah.
No, for real. Like, do you feel any kind of way?
I don't think she does.
That's crazy, bro.
I don't think she should, because a gun got pulled out. And whatever she did that you don't like, I don't like, a gun should not have been pulled out. Whether you think Tory did, somebody pulled a gun out. Even if you don't believe Tory pulled the gun out, somebody pulled a gun out on her, and she ended up with a bleeding from the ankle and having to go to a surgery because of some DMP stuff. That's what it was all about. It was about DMP.
Hey, if I had the funds and when he's released, I would go to Kelsey and I won't. But we gotta put this in writing. You gotta give me the complete truth and give us the spill on what happened that night, bro. Even if it incriminates you, because she was given immunity anyway. And when you given immunity, they know you guilty.
No, that's not true. They give you immunity to force you to testify.
They give you immunity because they felt you played a part of the crime.
No, they give you immunity because you have information about a crime.
If you're given immunity, your freedom is at stake.
Yeah, but
why? So that's what I'm saying. Why would Kelsey freedom be at stake?
Because it's not her freedom. If you have information about a crime, they bring you to court, right?
Right.
They subpoenaed you because they know you have information. Not that you did something wrong, but you have the information that they want the jury to hear. You can sit there and say, "I plead the fifth," right? And they can't force you to say anything. But then, if you're offered immunity, you do not have the right to plead the fifth anymore. They strip you away from that amendment. That's the way they get innocent people that have incriminating information to testify. And you can still say no.
Hey, listen.
Then you can be held in contempt and they'll hold you in jail for a couple months.
When you plead the fifth, you some way involved with the crime.
Not every time.
Like a civilian ain't gonna plead the fifth.
No.
Hold on.
Yeah.
A neighbor that's next door and they just want to knock on the door. We want to know how many shots did you hear. That you say I don't want to talk. They not gonna say I plead the fifth.
No, they won't say they plead the fifth in that situation.
People that plead the fifth is somewhat, even if you the victim.
No, I have a case where someone, baby mama, they subpoenaed her because she knew something about her baby daddy, and
where was she?
She was a witness to it.
So she was there when the crime took place.
She was a witness to the crime. They wanted her to testify against her baby daddy.
Right.
So
she was there.
So she pled the fifth. The judge told her, "I am giving you immunity, so you cannot plead the fifth anymore." And she said, "Take me to jail." And she ended up going to jail because she didn't want to tell on her baby daddy.
Hey, listen. She pled the fifth, and I would want to know what went on with the case. Did they feel she had some type of involvement? Did she drive them there?
No. She was a witness to a crime. She was not even a part of this case. But the prosecution knew that she knew. They wanted her to testify against her baby daddy. She didn't want to do it.
Pleading the fifth, so she had some knowledge of the crime.
She had knowledge of the crime, and she pled the fifth.
And she was there.
She was there.
She's supposed to plead the fifth.
Yeah.
That's some type of involvement with it.
No, you could plead
I ain't say you did the crime. That's you involved with it.
Nah.
All right. Yeah.
Same thing happened with Bone during the whole Terry Carter thing. He pled the fifth. He was the victim of the crime, and they forced him to testify.
Listen, being a victim, you don't plead the fifth.
No, you plead the fifth whenever you don't want to testify and answer questions.
I beg to differ.
Okay.
I'm telling you plead the fifth if you somewhat involved with the crime.
So you don't believe that an innocent person could plead the fifth?
I just gave you an example. If you knock on a next door neighbor and they just want to know how many shots did you hear, they not gonna say I plead the fifth.
Yeah, because you're not in the court. You don't plead the fifth. I mean, you can plead the fifth anywhere you want to plead it. Actually, you can watch these YouTube videos.
You watch it.
You ever watch these YouTube videos where the cop goes up to you and says, "What's your name? What's your name?"
I lived through it. That's what I'm saying with this plead the fifth.
Yeah, you can plead the fifth and say, "I'm pleading the fifth. I'm not giving you my name." You know, they can't force you to give you their name. You can plead the fifth. You're not guilty of a crime.
You got a right to remain silent.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, but that's what he
see. This is
you only telling somebody you got the right to remain silent if you being
no innocent people. See, this is where our rights get trampled on. Innocent people have the same rights too.
Bro, what do you don't confuse the viewers. What you mean innocent people?
If I don't want to answer a cop's question,
but who are you not wanting to answer it? Who are you?
Let's just say,
because you told me a story when they knocked on your door.
Oh yeah, that was about a Amber Alert. But let's just say I'm at LA Live or I'm at some public place and there's a shooting, and everyone says, I didn't see the shooting, but Alex over there, he saw it. Everyone say Alex saw it. So the police come to me and say, what happened? And I say, hey, I don't want to answer any questions. But everyone's telling us you saw it, Alex. Yeah, but I don't want to answer any questions. They cannot force me to answer questions because of the Fifth Amendment. No, they can't.
They can't force you, but you don't use the verbiage. I plead the fifth.
If they subpoenaed me to come to court for the preliminary hearing against some guy they arrested, I would be forced to plead the fifth.
You just get up there and hey, bro.
That's exactly what the fifth is for.
If you pled the fifth, why would you land in court?
They can subpoena me because they know that I saw it.
I ain't gonna agree, bro. Pleading the fifth, you got some type of like.
Okay, so you believe that only guilty people plead the fifth?
Not guilty people.
Okay, innocent people cannot plead the fifth?
People that have nothing to do with the crime, but it's a witness, they ain't not gonna plead the fifth.
Yeah,
they just gonna close their door.
All right,
like you did in the past.
Okay,
right.
All right.
What you say?
No,
you told him you plead the fifth.
I'm disagreeing.
Close the door. You said, "Am I arrested?" No. All right.
Yeah, I didn't use that terminology then, but I could have.